Ladies and gentlemen, KPIs, this is Glenn Carlson for a KPI Pro tip for Dre. And Dre asks, if I'm already a Forbes writer, and if I'm producing a podcast, do I need a blog as well? My answer is, and it's a great question, thanks Dre. My answer is kind of simple. First of all, I think you need your own personal domain. So glenncarlson.org. Dre Wayne, Wayne, I don't know how to say your last name. Sorry. .com, .org, whatever it is. And I think you need to own that space, and that needs to be showing up in places. But I don't think you need to write a blog. What I would be doing is when you have a new podcast, obviously that is the stream in which your podcast is presented. You might have a few personal notes. When you write for Forbes, you might write a paragraph intro. Might have the same headline, paragraph intro with a link to your Forbes article. So when people come to your blog, they can see podcast, Forbes, podcast, Forbes, Forbes, podcast, podcast, podcast. Then you might just do a rant. Then you might do a SoundCloud, and you just chuck a little SoundCloud in there because you don't want to put it in the podcast. And guess what I'm trying to say, Dre, is repurpose content. So I don't think it's super important or even smart to write a blog and then do a podcast and then do an article. I like the idea of you being able to do a podcast and then some content from that you cut up into the Forbes article, right? Which then someone goes through and transcribes the podcast, pulls out the key bullet points and kind of almost like a show notes and puts it on your blog. And kind of you're getting all three. My hands are doing it this morning, aren't they? So that's what I'd be thinking about. You know, a little Twitter feed on the thing so it can show updates, so it's looking live, it's looking fresh. I think that's a good idea. Could be still good on the blog. That means you can still have an email capture for people that want to subscribe to get more updates on what you're doing. But no, I don't think for everybody listening, right? If you're trying to sit there going, God, how do I manage all these different bits of content? Right? How do you think about how do I do one piece of content and then replicate that many times? Repurposing. It's a good idea. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pro tip. It's very early in the morning. But here's my question. What was I going to say? Oh, not a question. If you're going to ask me a question, which I'd love you to ask me a question, also make sure you put down any kind of URLs or anything that I can quote or I can say so people all around the world that are listening to this, watching this, can go and check you out as well. So Dre, I know you're in pre-launch for the podcast, but if you've got another question, you want to shoot me some links, shoot it through. And for anyone listening that's got a question and you would like me to be able to at least feature you a little bit, because I'd like the world of KPI land, part of this is to help you guys connect, that'd be awesome. And my question to you is, what time do you get up in the morning? I don't like it when the sun's not up in the morning. What time do you get up?